Team Liquid's always been that team where they're closest to the top, but always fall short somehow.
I think TSM is at a very rough spot right now.
Bjergsen's pretty much all TSM at this point.
It looks like if Bjergsen ever makes a mistake, they just lose the game. We can exploit that.
Last time against Team Liquid, they had control of the game. We won by winning a single team fight. We've been barely winning these games.
It's a 5 versus 4, but Bjergsen finds one, Phoenix at the front lines, but look at the damage coming out from everyone at TSM, and would you believe it, from behind, Team Solo Mid will actually do it.
My ultimate goal is to establish myself as like a really good player. I can only do that by being on the best team.
It's like we raised him, then we just gave him off to like TSM. He's like a toddler now, he's taking his first steps.
The situation with Turtle would be the same with me if I didn't pick up my game. If they're not the best player for their role, then we need to find someone with more potential.
We have to shut down Bjergsen. He's really the guy who's going to win them the game.
We have mid lane counter pick. Hopefully that can help us come out ahead.
We hope to not repeat the same mistake and just win in a clean, corrective way.
Welcome to our continuing coverage of Week 7 of the North American LCS Summer Split. We're beaming out to you live from our studios here on the West Coast. Lots of people in the stands today, and earlier we sent our camera crew deep into a fan feeding frenzy, and at the center of it, we've got a Poro making a long trip from the Howling Abyss. Enemy eSports here arriving a short time ago. They're looking to take down a Goliath when they face off against first place Gravity, as you see here warming up in their ready room. Move, Keen, the rest of the crew. Big game to start off the day there. Hello, everyone. I'm James Dash Patterson. It's great to have you with us for another day of knockdown, drag out, rough and tumble, knock 'em, sock 'em league action.
Damn.
And joining me, yeah, right?
A lot of
and
stuff.
joining me on the league analyst desk for this day of action, we've got Aiden Zyrene Moon, Joshua Jat Leesman, and David Freak Turley. Are you ready now for all of that action?
Well,
I was always ready. I was born ready.
Rough and tumble. I don't even remember
Rock 'em,
it now.
sock 'em.
Rock 'em, sock 'em,
I'm
robot
not ready for
action.
it.
I mean, I was ready this morning.
Yeah.
Boom.
Now it's afternoon, still ready.
I think
Still ready. David Freak Turley is always ready. Well, there are only 5 games left for each team to play, so let's pull up the standings. Gravity have grabbed first place with 10 wins and 3 losses. 1 game back in second, it's Team Liquid and TSM. Team Dignitas dropped into fourth with CLG and Team Impulse, each with 8 wins. Then in seventh, it's Team 8, followed by Enemy Esports in 8th place. Cloud9 is stuck in 9th with Team Dragon Knights 2 games back in 10th. But it's a new day and anything can happen on the Rift, starting with Enemy Esports as they look to bring down Gravity and take a win there. Then Cloud9 will challenge Team Dignitas in Game 4. It's Tip versus Team 8, and we'll conclude the day with CLG going against Team Dragon Knights. And in the middle of all that is our Game of the Week, a battle for second place between TSM and Team Liquid. An important match for both teams jockeying for playoff positioning. But those teams aren't alone in their playoff race, and today teams can lock in their spots. At the top of that list is Gravity, who need just 1 more win or a Team 8 loss to secure a playoff berth.
Yeah, and Gravity, they look like they're going to take off like a rocket. I don't know who can stop them because they've already beat CLG, TSM, and Team Liquid. The only teams in the top 5 that they play in their last 5 games are Dignitas and TIP. Otherwise, they're playing bottom half teams. So I feel like they're just going to take off and they're just going to hit that first place and get a first round bye.
I mean, specifically based off the teams that they have beaten, I think the biggest thing that will challenge them is their own consistency, because it's been such a rise in such a short amount of time. Being able to maintain that excellence, especially if we get a patch change, are going to be the biggest things for Gravity if they fall off or not.
Because they've basically run the same type of composition 3 games in a row.
Shen support.
Nobody stopped them yet. Shen support, Nidalee jungle, Sivir AD carry. Nobody stopped them yet.
Now, a team that is struggling with a little bit of consistency are also looking for their 6th consecutive appearance in the playoffs. We've got TSM.
Yeah, they've lost 2 games in the NALCS in a row for the first time all year. So they've been a very consistent team, but yesterday they were probably the shakiest that they have been. They had an overly passive play style. It felt like Wild Turtle was playing with handcuffs. It looked like everyone was afraid of making a mistake rather than trying to make a play.
Yep.
And that is always a fear for TSM because never happy with a good performance. So they're always worried about their mistakes, and now they're just worried about so many mistakes that they've maybe forgotten how to win, and they need to have a big bounce-back game today.
Yeah, and I want to talk about sort of what exactly went wrong with TSM. I've heard people say that it was like their draft or something. I don't think that's even close to true. I thought TSM's comp was perfectly fine. You get a bunch of burst damage out and you reset off someone, but when you have Santorin miss a targeted ability on the AD carry, like, how is that Loco Doco's fault now, right? Like, execution from the entire team. We talked about Turtle with handcuffs, Bjergsen not maybe doing it as much as he could be. This is a guy who had went like 10-3 on Ezreal before, so it's all TSM needed to step up to do a bit better. Of course, also a great game by Team 8. Maybe these guys do challenge.
Yeah, and of course, one more team we do have to look at is Team Impulse, another contender, and just like last split, they're hitting their stride here, coming into the end of the split at the right time.
Yeah, and TIP have just beaten all the teams around them recently. They recently knocked down Dignitas. They recently knocked down CLG. These are likely their playoff opponents. Today, they face Team 8 and can knock them off and kind of help secure their playoff spot. Impulse are beating the teams around them. At the end of the season, they got to go beat the top team, see if they can do that as well, and see if they've really kind of grown as a team. But right now, they're like, okay, you're a solid fourth-place team. That's where you were last time.
It's still marked improvement, though, because their first half of the split was 4-5, and those 5 losses were the 5 teams above them. They couldn't beat anybody above them, and now that they've pulled out 2 wins against those teams, this means that they're definitely moving up a little bit, or those teams are maybe going down. And
Rush continues to baffle me because he's last place in wards placed per minute, last place in wards killed for junglers, but first place in style because he's so impressive when he gets going, and he literally hard carries games, but it's in a very unconventional way for the way jungle is played.
Jad has a secret style chart at home. Yeah. He's just ranking all the players on his own.
I have to like jump to
But you know what?
Careful. Don't put a dunk on that one.
Oh my God. You know what I don't understand, though, is he plays Lee Sin. It's a Sightstone jungler. You think his wards would be higher just from ward hopping.
Everyone builds Sightstone now, so it almost cancels.
Exactly. But when he's making that many plays, you'd expect him to at least get them. But last in wards is actually very impressive.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah, in a bad way.
It is impressive to say the least. Well, before we throw it over to our casters, we're going to let you do the asking on Twitter today. A little later, we'll have Reginald and Liquid joining us on the desk to preview our game of the week. So send us your questions for the owners of TSM and Team Liquid by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. We'll pull a few questions to ask them in our pregame. But that's going to do it for us here on the analyst desk. Now it's time to send it to the casters to get the games underway.
Thank you very much, Dash. Hello, everyone. I'm Rivington Bison III alongside the mild-mannered Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler.
Little do you know, I have superpowers.
Yeah, I knew you had superpowers. They don't. We'll find out in the next game. We're going to start off today with enemy eSports versus the #1 Gravity right now. It's a big game for Gravity, as the guys on the desk mentioned. A win here would punch their tickets into the playoffs. Not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, they also mentioned that Gravity looked like they were going to take off, but they've already arrived at their final destination. They're in first place. You can't go any higher than that. Still, though, however good Gravity have been, they showed a few moments of weakness in game. You know, they made that mid-game mistake against Cloud9 where they gave up 4 kills, and they gave an opening to Cloud9 to get back in the game.
Right.
But Gravity were able to recover very gracefully, and they do look like they're going to stay put in that first spot.
And the last time these teams faced off was all the way back in week 1, if you remember, and it actually went to Enemy, which makes them one of only 3 teams, along with Team Solo Mid and Counter Logic Gaming now, that have defeated Gravity here in the summer split.
Yeah, that was when they were still sort of getting up to speed, you know, near the beginning of the season, and since then, they've been on very different trajectories. Yesterday, Enemy were soundly beaten by CLG on all fronts since the beginning of the game. So Enemy, they're going to have to shake it up if they want to pull an upset and keep their playoff dreams alive.
Yeah, we'll get the game statistics from that one as we're shortly into the matchup. But for now, we'll check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's going to be Enemy eSports. That's Flares in the top lane, Trashy in the jungle, Inox in mid, Otter at AD carry, Body Drop at support, and Coach Brad.
And on the red side, it's Gravity. Up top is Haunser in the jungle, Move, mid, Keen, AD carry, Altec, support, Buddy Fufu, and of course, Coach Cap.
And we were talking a little bit about who Gravity has lost to. We said CLG and TSM. That was week 3. Then in week 4, with those being the only losses, they came into week 6 against CLG and TSM and took both of those games. So a lot of things have been shored up here for Gravity. Going to be a tough game for Enemy, but they said every game is making them feel more comfortable with each other. We've seen a little bit of jitters still in the lane, though, before the team gets together, and that's where Enemy's really being affected. See the picks and bans starting out. Nidalee does get thrown out.
Aha, finally!
We get that, yeah. Somebody hits it.
People are starting to catch on.
Either. So a lot of things taken away that Gravity uses to get their composition into place or ahead in the game very early.
You definitely say enemy are paying attention to yesterday and the previous weeks.
Makes sense.
Because Nidalee and Civ are two of the biggest parts of Gravity's team comps in their recent 5-game win streak. Move on the Sightstone Nidalee. Ooh, another interesting ban here. This is a solo lane ban, but it has also been used as a jungle for them. So the Jarvan multi-purpose there.
Yep.
Bunny Fufu and Gravity are the ones who end up banning away their own support Shen here.
It's going to sting. I'm sure they feel it. So what is number 1, though, on enemies' list? It doesn't seem like coming through picks and bans they really had that idea. They're definitely
Alistar's still up. So
Alistar is still up.
You ban away your own
that would have been the last
support
one.
Shen, and you leave the Alistar there as a possibility for the first pick. Of course, they could get whatever they want for flares. Probably not Nautilus. He didn't look very comfortable on it. All right, they go for first pick Gragas, even with Rek'Sai still available. Some people do value Gragas slightly higher than Rek'Sai. I have them pretty even as far as my tier list goes.
Yeah, Trashy not having the greatest games on Rek'Sai, a little mixed, so maybe he doesn't want to go for that again. The team does choose the Gragas. Maokai gets picked up by Hanser. Easy P's not showing too much. They get the top laner and support. They show nothing with these first picks. Something Gravity has had the upper, not because of this, but they just have the upper hand in champion select a lot. Their team, their champions, and the way they play it.
Keen, very flexible. Still have yet to pick his champion. He does have counter pick as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the lock-in here, the double lock-in for Gravity, getting a really strong front line for themselves. Braum got some buffs in the previous patch, more damage and some mana cost for his Q.
Just keep spamming it out.
So he's a very strong support as well, and they just fly straight by the Alistar. Seems like that flavor has gone sour.
Very interesting that they don't want any bit of that. Body drop, loves his initiations going in whenever he can. Played that Braum yesterday, plays Annie previously, so he is one of the guys to get in there. And maybe defense for the team this time come from that support position with the Janna pickup, and flares will be on Aurelia.
Yeah, maybe they're just targeting body drop. You know, he does not have any games on Alistar. I'd have to go all the way back and search the bans to make sure it wasn't banned in every single game, which it very well could have been. But you know, some people just can't get the hang of the combos, even though it's pretty easy to pull off. Anyway, the Janna is locked in here, gives them some disengage. Maokai is not very easy to disengage though.
Yeah. Well, we've seen at least twice yesterday the Janna Gragas being picked up in unison together. Works good if you need to get out of a sticky situation.
Tack on Azir and you've got pretty much all the best disengage that you can possibly get in the current meta.
The last times the teams matched up, it was Cassidy in the mid lane. I don't think we'll see that again. The Azir might be the fine choice that Inox will go with here. Still the counter pick on the side of Gravity as they pick up the Tristana and the Rek'Sai for the jump.
Altec has been loving this Tristana pick, and not just into Kalista. He's picked it into multiple matchups. Really big fan of the champion. He likes to shove down the turret as quickly as possible, get harassed on the enemy while they're pushed into their turret as well. Let's see what Gravity decide to pick in the mid lane to counter enemy, because they're going to have to show mid first here.
We saw a lot of trouble from CLG to the enemy bot lane yesterday with the Tristana explosive shots on the turret. Body drop getting hit by a lot of those. They couldn't hold the lane, so Gravity may look to 2v2 this one and take that advantage as well. The final 2 picks now from enemy.
You know, with the way that Gravity's comp is looking right now, I actually expect Keen to go with a more standard pick, maybe even just like the Orianna, like he used 2 weeks ago. Because right now they haven't put together any sneaky tricks or anything. It's just a really solid, knock-up heavy squad that they have. All right,
well,
so
outside the box
poke
here for enemy. Yeah, poke squad indeed.
It's interesting that even with the fame of the AP Ezreal right now and the popularity of the Runeglaive Ezreal,
taken down quite a bit as well.
After 2 misses with the champion for Inox, 2 very lackluster games on it. He's decided to go just back to the Kog'Maw. And he's done with that Ezreal. He doesn't want the dash. He'd rather just go for
the Ahri pickup as well. Quite safe. He should remember it was.
What was I thinking?
It was Xiao that took him down as he played Ezreal on that Ahri. So.
Thank you, Riv. That is an 80 carry. Kog'Maw. You're right.
People knew what you were talking about.
That is just an Ahri. All right, so Keen will be the one to pick up the Azir. He was practicing it last night, actually, watching his stream.
How'd he do?
He did pretty well.
All right.
I forget who he was doing with, but they won the game that I watched. Yeah, a very standard team comp here for Gravity, though. And that does give them a lot more late game viability here with the Azir. They can actually shove down turrets really quickly. Tristana plus Azir here for Gravity. Enemy, though, plenty of disengage, as we said, and they've got the assassination.
Yeah, also pretty explosive.
Potential.
It's going to be interesting to see how they use this composition. Hopefully they don't mix and match the ultimates of displacement and just throw Gravity around. There can be a lot of damage missed by this poke if you don't have the target in the right.
Yeah, I was so used to seeing Kog'Maw mid and just thinking of him as that mid champion, just didn't even register the Ahri here. But it's been so long since we've had an actual AD carry Kog'Maw.
It is true.
We'll see if Otter can pull it off, because he does have the Janna to try and back him up.
The lockdown Maokai, Braum on the other side as well. Could be pretty scary. Pretty scary. You get knocked up. Kog'Maw doesn't have many places to go. The teams have locked in their champs now, so head over to Twitter and lock in your votes. Send either hashtag enemy win or hashtag GV win, and we'll add those votes up as we get into game. And we start seeing how this one pans out. You might want to change your vote. It's a possibility. You can do so. We won't hold you to it. It's going to be enemy versus Gravity. We are on to the Rift. Let's see if Gravity can continue to hold on to that first place. Can enemy get a second win here? The first team to 2-0 Gravity.
Yeah, I'm curious to see, how well Move does on not Nidalee, because he was a little bit slow to pick up Rek'Sai when he first came over here, but he did put in a lot of time practicing the champion. I'm very curious to see how well he can perform with that, because he's been such a big part of their victories.
He has, and Haunter has some high praise for his jungler. Let's hear that high praise. I don't think we're going to fight.
Everything Move does is just, he knows what to do, and he's done it by himself. We've never had to tell him, like, you should do this or anything. We always just trust his decision making in game.
Exactly. They trusted him to not face check that brush. And he made the right decision.
That was a close call right there. Enemy just pop out of the bush too. But yeah, it's a good thing that they don't have to tell him what to do, because his English is not perfect, and it might take a while to try and convey the exact idea.
Especially in a tight moment of a fight. Causing those seconds to communication definitely cost you big things. You can see Move's stats there on Rek'Sai, not too shabby. Has a couple victories on it. See if he can continue to do so. One that's very aggressive against his opponent.
Yeah, and speaking of aggressive plays here, this is the second time that Gravity have started on their opponent's side of the map. It just so happens that this time enemy are answering, and they are also starting on Gravity territory. But this is back-to-back level 1s where Gravity start the enemy buff side on their strong side where their duo is, so it's not as risky as you would think. Last time, though, they did catch 9 off guard. So,
what do we got? Still no matchup, so we're going to get that lane swap, Kobe. Figured it would be something that Gravity saw. Enemy fell behind on yesterday, but going to be safe. We'll see where the pressure comes from. Mid lane, may see Keen going hard on Inox, or the other way around.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in the side lanes here, Altec on Tristana, going to try and push this lane, start chipping down that turret. Even with a champion reduction in damage, she can get a lot of work done on turrets very quickly. They will have the duo jungle on that side of the map if they really want to go for this early as well. Kog'Maw and Janna take a little bit longer to do it, just because they also started Krugs at the very beginning. So they're going to take a lot longer to get to the turret. Now they've started to shove it, though, as it was pushing because they had Krugs. And they will eventually get there as well. Because of the slight timing delay, though, because they did Krugs, I'm wondering if Gravity will be able to get some sort of vision or answer down around Dragon in time because they have a lead on taking down the turret.
Gonna be a pretty significant amount of damage down here. Actually didn't level explosive charge yet, just a rapid fire. And he's actually taking the turret down pretty swiftly.
Well,
interesting.
This is also something that they've done a lot, is leave Hanser at the turret. Let's see, he's got the blue buff as well. They were able to give that
much
to him.
faster. So where should Gravity be looking to go now? They've opened up the map a little bit for themselves.
Deep board here to see who's coming up to his lane, and he doesn't have the option of freezing it as of now, but it's okay because Kog'Maw started auto-attacking the minions. I don't know. Yeah. Because of that couple auto attacks there for Kog'Maw, the enemy won't be able to freeze that lane, and Hanser won't be frozen out. Looks like the duo lane heading back, and they're looking for the 2v2 now. You do have to worry about the all-in from Tristana Braum lane. That's a very strong kill lane, especially with a Rek'Sai jungle who was able to sit in the Baron pit there. Sneaky play here from Move as he was just able to hide in the shadows. He also told them there's a pink ward here. Oh man, Move is playing some
teleport as well. The ward placed behind in between the turrets. They're going for Otter now. No escape on that Kog'Maw. Body Drop says, sorry, bro. And Body Drop may have even stayed a little too close. Flares is here as well to teleport from above, actually, because they thought they could actually come back out of this fight. Kobe, it's not looking good.
Not for enemy, it's not. And players might be able to get out.
Move returns for the fight. He didn't go. He was chasing Body Drop the whole time, is able to come in and help a little bit.
Got another flash.
And a little bit of movement speed they're able to give each other. Does save those two.
And because of the teleport up here from Flares, they lose out. This giant minion wave just got to his turret. The bottom, he's going to lose an entire minion wave down bottom. It's actually 2 waves stacked. He uses teleport. He's going to have to run all the way back to that lane. What a play from Gravity. They talk about how Move always has his own game plan.
Yeah.
That was magnificent, actually. Using the Rek'Sai passive, he's got that sonar vision to alert him to the support movements, and he just hides in the Baron pit for the collapse. Enemy teleported, by the way, because, yes, they saw the teleport coming in from Hanser. They did not see Move yet, though, so they thought they could answer, and it was just going to be a 3-on-3. They didn't account for the jungle factor.
With another look at Hanser's leveling as well, level 3 right now. He put 2 into Arcane Smash, so maybe a mislevel there. No Twisted Advance to follow up in that fight. Could have been another kill, but still coming up big. So, and all that chaos, a quick mislevel, but Hanser still gets back to lane with a kill for himself. See if they can patch these things up. Still looks good for them, so the confidence is flowing right now for Gravity. We figured it would be as they're coming off quite a win streak here in the North American LCS. Enemy looking to get that second win. Remember, Enemy was able to get that first victory against Gravity in the beginning, back in the first week. It's been a while since.
Was able to do that with the Avarice Blade as well. Didn't even get to see the prep for that. Move makes another gank. Level 4, Hanser does get the Twisted Advance to set up for that gank. By the way, for laning, if you're just going to be laning, you don't... Just going to a pink ward here.
No!
Ah, the old pink ward bait there from Enemy.
Got him.
Great setup here from Inox.
Very nice.
Just hit level 6. The easiest target for mid laners after they just hit level 6. Well, aside from supports. Is the jungler. You always have to be very cautious as a jungler, venturing around that mid lane.
See that bot lane
hit level 6. I mean, it was just, they knew Flares didn't have the flash from the earlier exchange up on the top side. So Move keeping track of that summoner spell, makes a visit down bottom before his demise in mid lane.
Nicely done once again onto Flares. Going to have trouble getting back to these lanes, getting the CS that he needs. Keeping pretty on par with Hanser, but still now 2 kills behind. So it's definitely going to hurt in that sense. Enemy finding themselves falling farther and farther behind. You may have seen Jat tweeted out on social media the kind of gold at 10, and Enemy is one of the teams that gives up the most to their opponents. And on average, it's going to look like more this game.
They also earned the least.
That's true.
So
that's true.
They have the worst early game as far as flat gold is concerned. Yeah, it doesn't take into account dragons, but if you're earning the least and giving up the most,
yeah,
gold in the first 10 minutes.
Just around 1,000.
Doesn't look
gold
like
on
the
average
trend is going to change in this game, as Gravity have already taken it. They're also going to take Dragon on top of it. Since Gravity are so good right now, and because they're crushing so hard, we do have to point out the single mistake that they've made so far this game, and that was, you know, maybe a little bit of that miscommunication and the inability to communicate very quickly and effectively with Move, even though it was their mid laner who should have done it, which is Keen, and he speaks Korean as well. So
yeah,
no excuse really for that mid lane where they did not call out, hey, Ari just hit level 6 and
right, I'm gonna
has
clear a ward out in the
an
open.
easy way to kill you, plus she's not in lane. Meanwhile, up top here, Hanser gonna have to pull some crazy moves to stay alive.
All right, so he dodged the first Foxfire there. He actually
not too crazy.
Dodged out on a lot of damage with that twisted advance. They could not pin him down for the next one. You saw Inox leave turret range. It went onto Otter. That just became a bad situation.
What kind of dive was that?
It's too telegraphed is what it was. It gave Hanser time to think.
Well, I kind of want to see a replay just to kind of see
sure.
what they did wrong, but I also just kind of want to move past it. That was
It's like one of those things where you just want to change the channel, but you still want to watch.
They, I mean, they committed 3 people to that top and were chunked out heavily. So Keen got, you know, more control of mid lane. He already has a giant CS lead, and that just added to it here with Inox trying to help out and roam around. Keen on Azir, 91 CS at almost 10 minutes here, so decent pace, not the best. Woo, sticking around a little bit too long there.
I think
doesn't get tagged by the body slam though. If that had hit, Aurelia might have been able to collapse there. Go
all right, so let's see this Kobe.
Who tanks it first here? There's all the minions means Inox can't start it off with a charm. That's their biggest problem there. He charms the cannon minion.
Too telegraphed.
Yeah, that was messy.
Yeah.
All right, well, Altec gonna have to dodge some artillery shots here under the turret. Now that Otter is level 7. Plus he's got the Sheen on top of it.
Yeah,
so
going for that Triforce build.
we can just get that W activation auto attack harass on Kog'Maw as well.
So that could be a spike for them, Kobe. You see the 2 Triforces coming out. Hopefully enemy can reach that faster than they're looking at this point. Gravity already making moves. They're going to slow down those core items once again. The teleport coming in like clockwork here. Going on to Otter once again. He's been down twice already in the game. Gravity has 3 kills.
Yep, Hanser shoves up the top lane. That's your side wave control. Pushes flares onto his turret. Then opens up for a teleport play across the map. I mean, these guys very rarely make misplays.
Yep.
And really only one for them so far this game. 5. Never mind.
What?
I was going to say something, and I realized it was completely wrong, so I'll just leave it there.
All right, never happened.
5.
Moving on. 5.
There are 5 players on each team.
And
There
they
you
can
go.
get 5 dragons at some point in this game. Right now, only 1 to Gravity's side. And we're just under 5 kills at 4. 40 minutes into the game.
Good start to the day.
Absolutely.
So far. All right.
Righteous Glory for Hanser. That's going to be actually finished up quite soon, probably. Oh, got the Acathian surprise. Just keeps happening.
All right, well, luckily for enemy, they have been able to go fairly close in CS across the board, you know, save for the mid lane here, which is getting crushed pretty heavily due to the roams that Inox has, you know, tried to pick up for the side lanes. The Azir will be a problem, but Flares was able to catch back up. Hanser now has a giant pot of money in front of him, though, up in the top lane, and he can hold it there as well. Curious to see if enemy will try and push that wave into the turret and get it to reset, or if it's just too dangerous for them to go to that side of the map and they try and make a map cross-map play because they know that Hanser does not have teleport. It's the only drawback to trying to freeze when you actually don't have a teleport on your top laner. Enemy could try and force something across map. However, they're so, you know, under-leveled right now. They're behind in experience and heavily behind in gold. even with a numbers advantage, it would be hard for them to actually force something. So I think Gravity can just get away with this and have that lane freeze up top and just have 3 lanes of income while enemies starve. Unless they're willing to send Trashy up there to get that to reset.
Oh. Good team communication down by Dragon, pinging out the tunnel of move as he almost went across it. Body drop gets there to stop that engagement from happening, but Gravity still has the wards on the bottom side of the map. This could be very, very big for them to make a play coming up. Also, Otter backing. We should see Body drop doing the same pretty soon here. Go down 2.
Now, move the Vision Control God of North America, as they call him. He's been doing very effective work on the bottom side of the map. Enemy are trying to pad those defenses up on this top side since they lost their turret, and they focused most of their wards up on the top side just to allow flares some room to CS. Because Haunts are already to the righteous glory. That is extremely scary. Because Gravity are so far ahead, they now have the tool that allows them to hard engage and force fights. And here come the turret kills.
Already an Infinity Edge that can be built up by Altec. He has the goal, just making sure they get the turrets. And yeah, Gravity playing a very, very nice early game here. The only kill onto Rush was a quick ward play that Enemy was able to make, but they haven't found any other windows with this pressure from Gravity.
And, you know, they're taking Dragon number 2 on cooldown here. Altec was able to start first buy with an Avarice Blade that's earned him 400 gold already.
Done quite a bit.
So just holding on to that this entire early game while they're swapping him around, he didn't have to fight too much. And that was a very easy 400 gold in the pocket.
So, a little bit of gold in the pocket of Enemy. Kobe struggling now, 4,000 gold behind, 15 minutes in. It's going to be more gold for Gravity as they try to put some damage onto Haunter, but realize he's a little too big. Even a level 11 Inox onto the level 8 Haunter, still not putting too much damage down. But they can get it on a body drop. Keen feels like he can step forward here, putting out the Legacy of Shurima passive in the mid lane turret.
Yeah.
He's just able to hold it by himself.
What he was trying to do with that outpost is draw attention away from the red buff, so he would allow Move time to steal the red buff. But not quite able to pull enough pressure, and Mood has to give up on that steal. Not the worst scenario for them. He was able to chunk 2 members of Enemy out in the mid lane in the process, and he still has control of it.
Oh, that Infinity Edge is finished. Oh, very nice Howling Gale on the jump. That would have been the end of him and a reset for Altec to get back out of the fight.
It sure would have.
So second Dragon over to Gravity. They control that game. They controlled the lanes and were already able to swap with the first turret in their favor here. The teleports have also been on their side, and an engage coming in from Enemy as they try to get at least something in the bottom lane. Still not coming up with anything.
Nice.
Gravity was there to counter as well.
Yeah, nice blocks there from Bunny. They're able to stop the push short here. And the outer turrets all being down, Gravity can very easily continue sieging on secondary turrets just because you pop up the Braum wall and push up enough to block damage while your Tristana and Azir can basically burst towers. These are the 2 champions in the game that can basically burst down turrets. And Braum will buy you that window by putting up his unbreakable shield.
Kind of like you would have the Triforce team for that, as Enemy would, but now it's the Azir Tristana. It's actually tearing down your turret.
That is a good point. They've completed one of their Trinity Forces on
Triforce?
On Otter.
Triforce. Let's
see if they can get the other one along.
He was keeping up in CS with those deaths, but they've panned out to about 40 CS now that Gravity has been able to get ahead there for Altec. So Otter still trying to charge up, like you said. That Triforce is finished, but I don't know if they're going to even be in range of him long enough to take the pokes. They're just going to be in his face and taking him down. Keen giving a little bit of harass to the jungle as he tries to take over Raptors. Gravity is just given different things for Enemy to think about, putting more on their plate so they have trouble doing the first thing, which which is trying to get themselves back in this game. Already having trouble warding up their own jungle. They only have about 3 to the plethora of wards on the side of Gravity.
Yeah, and Trashy did use his smite on the Wolf camp. That's a very high value camp to smite against Move, especially since he invades that side so often. But that's the little vision that enemy can get for themselves.
Yep.
They are really just fighting to hold on here as Gravity are just dominating this game, as they basically are dominating the North American LCS right now. Just taking down Team Solo Mid, taking their spot as well. And the rest of the split here, the schedule for Gravity, they don't have to play more top teams.
Nope.
So they're feeling fairly confident. Let's see if this 3-man swing bottom actually works out for enemy, because they've tried this before and they were easily repelled just by a Bunny Fufu Unbreakable. I mean, Move quickly answers with the Rek'Sai ultimate.
Yep.
They draw more resources down here. Inox is coming to force this, it looks like.
Free time for Haunter in the top lane. Let's see how far he can actually get this wave. Looks like he's just holding it. Make sure it's steady so he can get a teleport on as he watches the fight in the bottom.
All right, too dangerous to go kill that ward. Move trying to defend his babies, the pink wards.
He does a good job.
And he actually did it all by himself with just shooting out a couple Prey Seekers. Dissuades enemy going to take him out because enemy have no vision of their own.
Yeah.
They don't know how many people are backing Move up. So
that side of the map is completely dark to them. Only moving around with power and numbers here. You can see 3 members going through.
All right.
They're going to be able to try this dragon. It may be a fight they can take, though, and then go for it.
Now, they do have their double Trinity Forces completed, but they are still extremely far behind here. So if there's a teleport in from Haunter, you know, luckily there's no wards from Gravity deep behind them. So enemy are safe from that flank teleport, but they venture too far into this river. That will be a guaranteed engage from Haunter teleport, and they will go down. No matter how many forces you are able to control.
Gravity also.
Gravity's not one of them.
Very nicely set up to take these fights from Poke, even if they hit a bit. You have the Scepter already onto Altec. He can heal up. Haunter can heal himself up from his passive. Rek'Sai in the jungle as well, just kind of tunneling in. So the Poke there, as long as if they can't keep it on, it's going to be really hard to take down Gravity. They just heal this back up. Slowly and slowly. Enemies seeming like they're already a little scared to pull the trigger on any engages. Still that first kill only onto Move when they knew it was going to be able to be theirs without any trouble.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
That was...
As the Poke team, you don't want that to happen.
That was one combo.
Yeah.
Enemy do not want to contest this dragon.
That easy.
It would just be a lucky steal here if Trashy decides to chuck some barrels in there. Nope, not even going to try and get close to chuck barrels because Gravity can hop the wall.
Really dictating this game.
Well,
enemy not able to do anything out of the laning phase. As we said last time these guys played, it was kind of Inox and Otter to do the carrying. Inox played a Kassadin. Otter was some 10 kills on his Vayne, and that was a hard carry for them. Nobody's in that position this time. All the lanes kind of fell back early, even with the lane swap. And now to the mid lane, Bunny Fufu stopping everything from Inox, and Gravity puts their foot down quickly after waiting quite a bit here. Didn't get the fight they wanted,
take the turret.
But they did get Dragon, that's right. Taking down the next objective. Flares could try to stop Haunter here on the way out, but they decide to stay together.
Yeah, I mean, enemy, they're the ones with the Aurelia that's supposed to get strong and split push. They're the ones with the Ahri who's supposed to take over mid lane and be able to assassinate people, try and control vision. It's very hard for enemy to execute this team from behind. They have very few comeback mechanics here for enemy. And Gravity keep up the pressure there. As we said, pop up that Braum wall, take down a turret. Move on to another one.
Unfortunate.
Got the crab, though.
Got it. Definitely a hard game for enemy yesterday against Counter Logic Gaming. Still probably thinking about that one as well. And then to go against the top team in the league, who really is giving nobody an inch when they play that early game. Just becomes even harder. Gravity, however, on par with what they want to do each and every game. Move in the jungle. Definitely a good one for them this season.
It's just so hard for me to see. Look at the inventory and see 4 members of enemy at 23 minutes still with brown bags on their feet.
Yeah, see that too.
They're so poor. They can't even afford level 2 boots.
Everyone on average, besides the junglers, are 2,000 gold down, and the supports.
Ouch.
Yeah, 2,000 to 3,000.
I mean, you're like, okay, they need to make a really desperate play, but look at this. Your solo laner's getting 100%. Whoa! He got him stunned on the third. He's gonna go!
Oh, he goes down!
They got the kill.
Minions OP takes it in. That was a solo kill for Flares. That was his. I thought that was actually going to be help from body drop.
All right.
See if they can pick off Move here. Move already actually wants to get a fight of his own. Comes up a little early on Trashy.
Is that the reduced unburrow range right there?
You'd think it was.
He got,
but not yet.
160's hard to get used to. But yeah, that was a very good trade for enemy. You'll take any 1-for-1 that you can get, even if it's a solo laner for lower level AD carry. Oh, they're teleporting in. They want to make
the tiny bit of movement. You can get back on the map. That advantage to be played. An enemy is now trying, chomping at the bit. They're going on to Gravity. Flares doesn't get bumped too much as they're choked into that spot. But the Emperor's Divide just leaves them on the other side of the wall, getting poked by Keen soldiers, and Gravity disengages the fight better than the enemy comp somehow.
5v3, support jungle and mid. Able to survive the teleport initiation from enemy in the jungle. Emperor's Divide splits that jungle corridor in half, and you are not allowed to chase.
More time to deny resources out the jungle. Not a problem with Move. He loves to do so. Let's see what kind of core items we have on their side. Aegis actually just completed by Bunny Fufu. It's something Trashy has been trying to put in his inventory for quite some time here to save his team from the mean Keen.
Yeah.
No kills for him, but 303 CS, and he's still almost half-shotting people. So 2 combos, we would see Inox Otter be on the ground.
That's a good point. 303 seems excessive.
At 25
minutes.
You think so?
Wait a second. All right, well, Hansler just happily holding his bottom lane at the turret as usual, holding on to that teleport. They were very calm as well in that 5v3 scenario. They didn't call for the teleport. He had it available there. Happy to just disengage themselves. And they just wait on the dragon stacking. They'll easily get to number 5 here if everything goes according to plan. Keep an enemy boxed up in their own territory.
Now here's my request. You're up some 7,000 gold. Pull the trigger for a game ender. Not yet, obviously. There's not enough time to get to the Nexus without the spawns coming up. But when it comes to it, I want to see these teams finally get that one turret down and say, let's do it. Obviously, you don't make a silly move, but there's a lot of teams that have backed off. We want another inhibitor turret Nexus. We want another inhibitor turret, and then the Nexus.
So I agree with you, and here's the way that I propose going about it. Because everyone's always just like, oh, they can't end the game. They're so far ahead. Oh, why don't they end the game? Well, it's not that easy sometimes. Here's what you do when you're this far ahead. You buy an Ohm Wrecker. Yeah, that item, you don't buy it when the game is close. The item is for turning off turrets when you're so far ahead like this that you can go for those dives. Your Maokai is ridiculously buff right now. He's super tanky. He doesn't really need more tanks. Get an Ohm Wrecker. It's a little bit less efficient than pure tank items, but it's still pretty decent. And it allows you to, finish the game. Boom.
I like it.
It's proposed. It's been proposed.
Been proposed.
Someone take up the offer.
We'll see who does it. I think we've only seen one Ohm Wrecker maybe in the LCS. May not
At like 50 minutes in.
I think they won without even using it. Oh boy. Get another one.
He got pinged on. Oh, he got torn.
He got pinged, but the Praise Seeker takes the red buff. Wow. Magical plays everywhere.
All right. Exciting stuff here. Move's able to steal red, and Keen's able to live.
Let's do it. We got to fight, Kobe.
No Emperor's Divide, though.
It's been a little bit. Everybody's got their breathing room, and now we're about to get back into that personal space. Bubbles are about to be broken. Trashy on the outside, looking for the disengage so he can get the smite, but they're actually going to give this one up a little bit. Goal side is now given over to Gravity on the Dragon. An enemy wants kind of the re-engage on the fight here. Oh, they got Move. Is that enough? Bunny Fufu right in the middle. That's the heal disperse coming out. That kind of helps them. Gives everybody time to reassess the fight. And nobody has gone down but Trashy yet. That was big. That's their smite. They're going to try to keep going.
The army of Shurima is holding the front here in the river. 3 soldiers. Keen zoning everyone off, even after being chunked out.
The damage on this dragon.
Now all the soldiers dissipate, though. They lost the soldiers.
They'll poke in. Altec shots onto flares, trying to get some assists from the dragon here. What a dance we have.
We need to check out dragon DPS after. Oh, here we go.
Oh, they've had enough. They go in. Move very, very low. So is Hanzo. The charm actually hits Altec. Full HP, but he's able to jump out. Keen's into the fight. He was never really a factor. Keen coming up with a triple kill in the Sand Soldiers. And he gets away from the Acathian surprise with shifting sands, which actually gets his buddy. Oh no, Altec lived.
Yep. The crowd goes wild.
I thought it killed him.
I like that you both stated lol and in fact lolled in real life.
There was something about it. Sometimes you got to give it both.
Double laugh out loud. All right, let's take another look at it because Keen, for so long he was able to defend this that his ult came back up. There's initiation from Move and Hanser. The front line of Gravity, by the way, is so impressive. They play the fights so ridiculously well. It makes it easy for the back line. Altec swaps here with Keen, tags him out, and Keen takes over as the front line. There he's able to pull off the easy slide here. And we see the reason why Azir is the most picked champion in the North American LCS.
Yeah.
Mid lane. I forget what the percentage is, but he's the most picked.
It's up there.
And
there's a reason.
I mean, we've seen Phoenix do it. We've seen, well, Bjergsen was streaming last night, had some pretty decent plays. Keen as well. Looks like people are just starting to master this champ. Well,
yeah.
All right. We won't say master.
It's when it comes to comfort. You feel the confidence that you can make these plays. The jitters don't happen. You remember that you have shifting sands to get out of a Cathy. It's the small things.
Yeah.
Keep you alive. Keep the plays looking good. LCS big plays only come when you're feeling confident. 302 for him now after we said 300 CS at 25 minutes with no kills. Well, he just picked up that kill participation very quickly. 5th Dragon as well, Kobe. All 4 to Gravity, so not looking good here for enemy. There's a lot of things they have to be worried about.
Yeah.
10,000 gold lead is also one of them.
Teleport is definitely one of them. I have yet to see a deep lane ward from Gravity, though. If they put a deep lane ward, especially in that mid lane, then, you know, Hanser coming off to cut off the river would easily be able to...
How fast are they to set up their wards? We saw Gravity in just dancing around,
teleport.
but they did remember to set up some deep ones.
It's not in the lane. They aren't able to cut them off. All right. Well, they waste one of their biggest tools for catching enemy.
Could be a Baron push, though.
I don't think it really matters because they're so ridiculously far ahead, and they do have True Sight, as you said, on Baron.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we can stop talking about, oh, Hanser's waiting to use his teleport to cut him off.
That was
for 5 minutes at least. I will.
Won't have the cooldown. It was to a ward. We're gonna have to wait a little longer. Enemy, very bravely marching their way through without too much vision and not putting too much down on the way in or out either. 1 to 2 wards go in.
Yeah.
Nothing really to lead themselves around to fight. If it continues through the fog of war, it could be dangerous, but right now they're able to peel off of that, get the pressure from flares in the bottom lane, hopefully start to spread Hanser a little thin. Maybe they know that teleport's down and this is their chance to get a fight off of that.
Yeah. Gravity are taking this one so slowly. I mean, yes, they do have an easy path to Dragon 5.
They don't have an own record.
You don't really have to you know, take any risks, you know, go for a Baron, even though you do have perfect True Sight, even though you do have full control of the map, just because Dragon,
what are you trying to say?
Dragon is really low risk for them, and they can just wait. But whenever you do have the team at the top of the standings, you do look for more from them, and you look for quicker victories and cleaner victories, and see if they can pull it off here.
Ooh, gotta make sure not to get too lax just because you're clearing wards and you feel confident because you're trying to gain vision of the area. It's definitely still a reason for an engage. Trashy down to about 70% of his HP. They should be able to get themselves into this or out of this fight. Poised right now in the mid lane. That turret, 2nd tier, could be something that they grab here if they get a good fight. Out of the fog of war comes Gravity, but does not look like anything. Too much of a
There's
grab
the
on both sides. Nobody can
Jenna.
close this gap. They're just pushing them off. Is it enough to go back and start the fight that they want?
I love you, Hanser, but as Maokai has had trouble getting the initiations with the home guard teleport and with the Righteous Glory. Janna, fairly easy disengage there.
Not too much you can do. Gotta watch for Keen to fly in there on one of those soldiers. Keep watch the positioning of those as well. Keeping an eye on Hanser and Bunny Fufu for where they go. And I'm not putting it by Move to be the first one in the fight either. He's not the tankiest of guys, but it's still something we've seen him do before.
They've got position on mid lane here with Inox at the back. Can he pull off enough pressure to keep them off the turret?
A split as well on Trashy on the right side. Could be the pincer that they want. Jumping into Inox, Alltech having that rocket jump down. Going to play safe now. He's got to be careful of which way he goes. He decides to go all the way up on that. So almost a catch. Enemy, however, preventing that damage towards mid lane. Kind of pulling Gravity around, starting to get him to dance.
The lackadaisical approach here from Gravity as far as the mid game is concerned, just waiting for Dragon number 5. Well, it's about to come up, so we will have shiny, bright lights all over all 5 members fairly soon. They feel so confident they don't even need him down by the Dragon to take it.
He'll head down here immediately.
I pretty much agree, actually. He's heading down anyway.
Are they not going to pressure it? It could cost them quite a bit, but also Dragon 5 will cost you quite a bit. And they're not going to. Or they are. They're just waiting for the rest of the team to go down. Trying to get it.
Here.
Power and numbers here coming from Enemy. Trashy over the wall. Stealing this would be absolutely gigantic. A little bit of a pause button on the game if they could. Trashy over, tries to hit it. It's going to be smited. Oh my god, it actually goes to Flares. The smites don't even come through. Both jugglers with the jitters. Flares cannot get out. Trashy can. Hanser trying to find a target. Blasted over the wall. Actually, Trashy, that was a body slam. He didn't get burst shot. And they are going to be okay on that. What a save.
A steal for 1.
The game continues.
Great steal there. It probably will mean that Baron's down, but they were able to steal away the Dragon number 5, which is a bonus. Players will be back up for the defense when the Baron siege comes. But once again, we'll see that same pattern of Braum puts his wall up. Altec and Keen kill a turret in probably 3 seconds. I'm going to go with 2.5 seconds. Okay, 3 seconds. 3 seconds, they'll take it.
So let's see this one more time. I think Trashy didn't even smite. Might have just been the Blade Surge.
Trashy.
Right.
And Flares able to combo for it there. Wait, let me check now. Oh, no.
So first Baron average, you can see this one's a little late, but practically on time for these teams. Gravity getting that one due to the Dragon fight, but they would probably like to have both of these objectives here. Enemy putting themselves on a wire to keep themselves in this game, and it's exactly what you need to do. The few kills that they have come up with, unfortunately not on priority targets that they can get some resets on. Not resets, but get a good shutdown amount of gold, so still gold just trickling in for them, falling farther and farther behind now at about 14,000.
All right. The outer turrets, or the secondary turrets, those are going to be a piece of cake. The real last stand is going to come at the inhibitor turret here. It should be the first one before one goes down. Enemies should make their move, because once that opening is there. All right, Flares is actually just going for the flank, 1 versus 2 here.
No.
He's got some artillery support from the base.
Being able to hold 2 off like that is good.
Turret. I don't know if it was 2.5 or not.
But your turret's going down. They took it down real fast, Cody.
That was right.
Real fast. Alltech now onto the inhibitor. See his focus with the rest of the team fighting. Keen, a 3-man Emperor's Divide as he's shifting sands down towards the Nexus turrets. They're still going to live through this one. Oh, Keen gets zapped out. Flares is going to go down here in the eventual fight.
Oh, Move
big damage. No. Oh, Move goes down. This a little bit too much of an antsy dive coming in from Gravity, but the guys that need to focus on the objectives are, and Alltech made sure to get the targets that he needed. Inhibitor down, Altec still focusing with the team. It looks like he went out to see if he could take down flares as well, just outside the base, but now they're back on the Nexus turrets. It's going to be quite a bit of time here for the spawn of the rest of the members of Enemy, and they will be on the ground. They will not 2-0 Gravity on the split. Gravity will take the 1-1 in the matchup. And in 38 minutes on the clock, Gravity takes down Enemy.
Yeah, right at that average game time.
Got him.
Perfect. Well, yeah, that was a bit of a crushing loss for Enemy.
So
Gravity happy with the performance.
Also happy with the speed of once they got to the base, then the Nexus. They closed it. Didn't need the Ohm Wrecker. It's still proposed, though. It's still proposed.
Yeah, they came in, they stuck to their plan. We're going to go 5 dragons, then we'll end it. Yeah, they didn't actually get the 5th one, but it allowed them to grab Baron and finish off the game.
Again, a lot of early movement in the jungle coming from Gravity. They were mirrored at first, and then Move continues to take off, help the lanes, get the pressure or the ganks necessary every time. He figures out a way to do it. Even when he dies, still is able to be there for the team.
Yeah, Move's Rek'Sai, 2-1 and 24, and it's 2-0. It's won both times he's used it. So, man away the Nidalee, no big deal. Was able to get it done. I'm still, probably my favorite part of the entire game was that level 2 play where Move hid inside the Baron pit.
Yeah.
And then they call in the teleport from Hanser to attack the long lane.
Halfway down the lane.
After taking. Yeah. We very rarely see teams, you know, punish the lane that's had the turret taken in the lane swap. I like the adaptation from Gravity.
That's very true.
And Move specifically pulling off the spy mission.
We usually think that teams or say they don't have enough resources or whatnot to keep pushing past that second tier turret. Well, if you do it quick enough and the team doesn't have a chance to react, that teleport.
It was great. I mean, I think it was even Hanser who put that ward there. He set up his own teleport play.
It very well
Hanser placed the ward, then swapped down to the bottom lane. I'm pretty sure that was Hanser's ward. Well, so he's making his own teleport plays.
He made a lot of plays this game. In 15 kills, it was 15-5. He's 2-0-12. That's 14 kills he participated in that game. And Hanser has just been stepping up in general as a top laner this year. The whole team is definitely playing very well. And for a full breakdown of Gravity's playoff clinching win, we're going to go ahead and send it down to our guys on the analyst desk.
Thank you, Riv. Gravity extending their win streak there and securing their playoff spot, as we mentioned they might do earlier in the broadcast. And honestly, started off this game with a really huge gold lead after a poor early game from Enemy there.
That was the most confusing early game I've ever seen. First off, Otter doesn't even buy a Doran's Blade, and then they don't even take the turret in a lane swap when they clearly see theirs being taken. And then Enemy just play it completely wrong after the lane swap, after the turret goes down. They swap Otter, the immobile or low mobility Kog'Maw, into that long lane, and it's already been warded by Hanser. Just some brilliant plays there in capitalization by Gravity to actually turn it around, but just overall very bad by Enemy.
You don't see teams give up a turret in a lane swap scenario, especially when they can't isolate a freeze in lane. Like, the only way you would ever want to give away a turret is if you're guaranteeing a free farm lane for one champion and you can deny a full wave from the enemy team. Right. Not only did Enemy not get a free farm lane, they actually got killed in the lane in which they gave up the turret, which just added insult to injury.
Well, the way that was set up, too, is Hanser, after the wave, he pushed it up, and he actually placed his own ward there for the TP later. So that was a play that he was premeditating 1 minute in advance, and Move sat in the Baron pit. He saw everybody pass him. He's like, all right, I'm waiting here for this kill. This is going to happen. So it was very meditated, and I love seeing that when they recognize the mistake, and they're going to make you pay for it.
Yeah, and you're right. The premeditation was really smart play of Gravity. And I also want to cement that this wasn't even a compositional problem from Enemy.
Execution.
Tristana didn't even learn explosive charge, right? You also have a Janna on your team. You could make the argument, oh, but there's a Tristana on one team. She's going to be better at killing the turret, so why even bother? Not the case here. You've got a Janna, which is the best support for making this turret go down. You didn't even buy freaking attack damage, and you didn't lose explosive charge, which is the reason Tristana's good at this. This wasn't even a catch-22 where you're screwed either way. This was just a complete misplay, and I like separating those out where sometimes there's never a good option. This was not one of those, and it was definitely a very heartbreaking early game.
Yeah, and it exacerbates the problem that Enemy has been suffering the whole split. They have the lowest gold at 10 minutes and the most gold against at 10 minutes, and it's on average 1,000 gold discrepancy by the 10-minute mark. This game was 2,500. So their problems are not improving; they're just getting worse as the split continues. And they're going to be looking to be in a bit of trouble. They have shown that they have pretty good team play if they withstand the early game, because the wins they've gotten, it's because they rotate around the map and get picks, but they never had the opportunity to do that.
And it's you know, it seems funny that at the bottom of the table right now we're seeing this kind of bottom 4 teams jockey for position when you're looking at getting that 7th place spot, avoiding the relegation zone entirely. But having early game issues, I would imagine, is going to be the biggest problem of all the teams, because most of these guys can lane, right? They can come out with a lead, but if you can't, how are you gonna even jockey against?
We just saw Teammate beat TSM yesterday, and TSM was hiding from the 2-on-2 because like they respected Nian and Dota that much. Like, the teams in the same spot as you are literally doing what you're failing to do, right? Like, and we're seeing Cloud9 had a couple of pretty good games. Like we saw Cloud9 come back from a massive gold deficit against TSM earlier on in the year and whatnot. Like, yeah, Teammate or Enemy have managed to squeak out a couple of wins, and that's good for them. But it seems like it's not happening anymore.
Touching on Gravity real quickly, because although, I was going to say, Nash is really cool. Although Enemy did have a multitude of misplays early in the game, which allowed Gravity that early lead, they did play it very methodically from then on out, closed the game, got the win that they're expected to get. I feel like this is the approach they're going to need to take for the remainder of the season to secure that first place slot.
They do average about a 38-minute game time here, so they like to just play it out for that 5th dragon. Then you saw after it was stolen, they're like, okay, let's go Baron, let's actually end it out here. And they played that well. Keen had a massive CS lead at 25 minutes. He had 300 CS. He was ready to take over the game. And another big thing, just Gravity overall, I said at the start of the day, I don't know who's going to stop them. Now they have 4 games left, and they play like...
They're going to toss Teammate, Impulse, and TDK.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to stop them. They just look really solid.
Yep, we'll have to see. We do have our first playoff team. Don't go anywhere after this quick break. We'll jump into our next match, Cloud9 versus Team Dignitas. Stay with us.
I wish Gravity would say hi to me. Yeah, they don't understand the weight of the situation.
They're top of the food chain now. They don't care about anything anymore.
They don't care about me.
Oh, here we go. Oh, they've had enough. They go in. Move very, very low. So is Hanzo. The charm actually hits Altec.
Nice.
Yo. Nice.
God, dude.
Over, tries to hit it. It's going to be smited. Oh my God, it actually goes to flares. The smites don't even come through. Both jugglers with the jitters. He a 3-man Emperor's Divide as he's shifting sands down towards the Nexus turrets. They're still going to live through this one. Oh!
Gravity takes down Enemy.